Dear State Governors of the United States Gulf Coast area, my name is Sterling Kauhn, and this is an open letter to all of you. Each of you still has a chance to redeem yourselves by doing what the Constitution says you are allowed to do under the 10th Amendment, including sending each of your respective states' National Guard personnel with respirators down to the Gulf. This is regardless of whether or not any of you gets re-elected, which of course by now it should be obvious to anyone who's been watching this oil spill that none of you does. So far, each of you knows you have been complicit in allowing the puppet terrorist Obama and BP Oil, which we know is the new Dutch East India Company, to desecrate the waters and shores of the Gulf of Mexico. Now, y'all out there who are screaming, oh, it's because he's the first black president that you're putting him down. No, he's not the first black president. Bushbama, yes, in his third term, I'm being a jerk, but anyways, Bushbama is not the first black president. He is not equivalent to Martin Luther King Jr. or the, at the end of his life, non-racist Malcolm X. Instead, he's a puppet just like almost every president has been after Kennedy was assassinated. Reagan was shot for trying to do the right thing. Then he went ahead and did his part to obey the international robber barons. The privately held Federal Reserve Corporation, for instance, and J.P. Morgan, Goldman-Sacchs, Wells Fargo, who now owns Wachovia, etc., etc. Again, as for you governors, you can choose whether or not decades from now your grandchildren and great-grandchildren will see you pass away peacefully, or watch as that elderly loved one has the rictus of sheer terror written upon his, her, or their face upon knowing that the gates of hell await. Fear not the establishment's bullet, but instead fear the eternal torment of hell if you can't show any love for humanity. Now, this goes especially for you, Governor Riley. You enter the afterlife not as the scumbag who we Alabamians know said he wouldn't raise taxes and then did. Instead, redeem yourself by immediately allowing as much cleanup and containment as possible to occur within this state's jurisdiction. Even you, Mr. President, you have a chance to redeem yourself by saying no to BP and allowing absolutely as much cleanup and containment of the spill as is mechanically and humanly possible without using that chemical weapon known as core exit. I know you're afraid of risking the establishment's bullet like Kennedy did, but if you don't, you're going to end up living to a ripe old age, only to enter the gates of hell when you die. If I die, or am kidnapped and carted away to a secret prison for making this video, and so be it. As was said, I regret that I have only one life to give for my country, just for making a stinking video, for using my First Amendment right. I do hope, otherwise of course, I really would rather be thought of as a fool than to be silent. It's getting more dangerous to be silent than it is to speak out. So maybe I'm a big, fat, stinking coward for speaking out. am fat, you know. Well, that's enough for now. This is Sterling Kauhn, July 3rd, 2010.